all my life. All my life I've wanted to be an artist. As I've worked, collected, hobnobbed, fanboyed, and drawn my way to my preferred career of illustration, comics, and writing, I've amassed my own degree of pop culture knowledge and history. My fellow geeks and creatives, this is the Fireside Chats. Hey everybody, my name's Doc, and welcome to the Fireside Chats. As you can see, I am not currently in front of nor beside a fire, but anyway, go with it. This is my studio, and I'm an artist. A lot of artists have their own moment of epiphany tale, their own I want to do that story. Mine was a day when I was a teenager at a Disneyland art and animation store that I saw Alex Raymond's Flash Gordon art. But there's a story leading up to that. As a kid growing up on a steady diet of Doctor Who and Star Wars, I was also fascinated by old adventure films. Saturday mornings after cartoons, I would often find classic Tarzan films preceded by old sci-fi cliffhangers like Undersea Kingdom and the Buster Crabbe Flash Gordon serials. As any self-respecting child of the 80s should, I had seen the 1980 version of Flash Gordon about 1 billion times. Starring Sam Jones and Max von Sydow, this was essentially a rock opera of Queen music and retro science fiction laser battles, riding high and cashing in on the success of Star Wars. And why shouldn't it? Flash Gordon itself had been an influence on George Lucas's vision of a galaxy far, far away, just as the other serials had influenced Indiana Jones.
Didn't even get a crash on Mars? Look, Doc, we're heading straight into the beam. Point 3.
Listen, I know most of you probably only know about this movie because Ted the Talking Teddy Bear partied with him, but I digress. Anyway, nestled in among the opening credits sequence of bombastic Queen rock music were flashing, almost animated clips of the original Flash Gordon comic strip art from the 1930s. It hinted at a sweeping space opera with swashbuckling action and character drama. It was cool and stylish and influential. And then I forgot about it. Until that one day when I walked into that store at the Disneyland Hotel full of animation cells, original art, and high-quality prints. There on one wall was a giant poster-sized blow-up of a single panel of Flash Gordon comic strip art by Alex Raymond. I knew what it was, and I knew I wanted to do that. Born October 2nd, 1909, Alex Raymond's father encouraged him in his artistic career, and by the early 30s he was an assistant illustrator on newspaper comic strips. This was in the days when the funny papers weren't just talking animals and humor bound by Christian ethics, but also meticulously drawn adventures that, on Sundays, were in color. By 1933, Alex had been assigned to draw an espionage strip called Secret Agent X9, written by none other than Dashiell Hammett. Dashiell Hammett, the Maltese Falcon, Bogey, the stuff that dreams are made of. Come on, guys, keep up with me. Between him and Raymond Chandler, they basically created the hard-boiled detective genre, which dovetails right into urban fantasy, film noir. Geez, have I got to teach you guys everything? Okay, anyhow. Well, Alex Raymond's publisher, King Features Syndicate, wanted a new strip to compete with the popular Buck Rogers comic. Alex worked with a ghostwriter, designed a mix of Jules Verne, pulp art, and swashbuckling, and tossed it into a sci-fi mixer. He created movie-style costuming and character designs, and sent his crew of heroes off to the planet Mongo to battle the evil Emperor Ming the Merciless. It was simple enough storytelling, but Alex's line work, along with his color palette and luxurious style, not to mention gorgeous women, made it hugely popular. He worked on it along with Jungle Jim, another adventure tale. The two comics even appeared concurrently. After his work for the war effort during World War II and his enlistment in 1944, he returned home to find that Flash Gordon had been virtually taken from him by King Features Syndicate of the time, but they offered him the chance to do a new strip. He began beautifully illustrated police daily called RIP KIRBY, named after the hero. He worked in advertising, illustration, movie posters. Face it, he was the man. His women, like his art in general, were classic, classy, and gorgeous. He used pen and brush in ways that accentuated form and drew from reference as many of the masters of painting and illustration before him had. Alex Raymond was influenced by such artists as Howard Pyle, the father of American illustration, Matt Clark, and Franklin Booth, just to name a few. Known as the artist's artist, He has influenced countless others, including creators, movie makers, and more. George Lucas, Mark Schultz, Jack Kirby, Bob Kane, Frank Frazetta, Al Williamson, John Romita Jr., Alex Toth, Dave Sim, and more all cite Alex Raymond as a major force as they developed their own creativity. Starting to see how this is all interconnected? In the words of Tom Roberts, author of Alex Raymond, His Life and Art, Raymond's illustrations always contained an underlying tension, a sense of adventure and excitement rarely found in others' work. It certainly grabbed me, and it still does to this day. Anyway, thanks for joining me for the Fireside Chats. I hope you found this at least a little bit of interesting, but hopefully it will be an incentive for you guys to check me out on Patreon and help me out a little bit each month. My own illustrations as I work towards bringing you more of Warbirds of Mars. .com, and some of my other work. I appreciate your time, and thanks again. I'm Doc, signing off from the Fireside Chats.